In this lesson, we'll be plotting and creating shadows in perspective. To begin, let's draw a 2-point perspective box below the horizon line. Now we'll determine a light source, and we'll do this by drawing a vertical line on the horizon line. Next, we'll establish the height of the light source, and we'll do this by putting a dash or dot on top of that vertical line. We will also establish the light source base by putting a dot at the bottom. Now I'll locate the corners on the top of the box. Then I'll connect a line from the light source to each corner, and I'll run these lines long. Now I'll locate the bottom corners of the box. Now extend a line from the light source base through the bottom corners of the box and run them long. Where the light source line and the light source base line intersect, we'll put a dot. And we'll do this for each corner. Now we'll simply connect these dots and then verify the shape of the shadow. Now I'll shade in the area where the shadow is. In order to give this object some dimension, I'll add 3 different tones or values. The darkest one away from the light source, the middle one on the left side, and the lighter one on the top. Alright, let's try another one. This one I'm going to move the light source so it's closer to the box. I'll establish the light source height and light source base. From there, I'll draw lines from the light source through the corners, and I'll do the same on the bottom with the light source base. I noticed that because of the position of the light source, I'll have to go back in and do all 4 corners, from the top and the bottom. Now where these lines intersect, I'll plot in the shadow. Now I'll go back in and verify the shape of the shadow, and then fill it in. Now we'll give this object a little bit more dimension by adding 3 values, or tones. The area away from the light source will get the darkest value. The one on the right side, the mid value, and the top will be the lightest value. Now I'll draw a different shape, like a house. All the same principles apply. You'll establish the light source, and then draw a line from the light source through the corners of the object. I'll extend lines from the light source base through the bottom corners, and where these lines intersect, I'll plot in the shadow. Now I'll draw a thick wall with a doorway in it in 2-point perspective. I'll establish the light source and draw lines through the corners and also through the corners of the door. I'll also extend lines from the baseline and then simply place dots and connect them. I'll add a darker tone away from the light source, a mid-tone on the side, and then I'll cast a shadow in the doorway. Okay, we'll do one more. This time we'll do a wall with a window opening in it in 2-point perspective. When drawing a thickness to a wall and an opening, it's important to use your plotting lines to establish where the window opening ends at the back. Now I'll establish my light source and the height and the base. I'll extend lines from the light source to all the corners at the top and also through the window. I'll extend plotting lines from the windows to the bottom of the wall. Then I'll extend lines from the light source base to the bottom corners. And where these lines intersect, I'll put a dot. It can get a little bit confusing because there are so many lines. Once you have located all of these points, connect them and plot in the shadow. Now I'll give this object some dimension by adding value. I'll start with a darker value away from the light source, a mid value on the side, and then a dark shade on the underside of the window opening. One of your exercises this week is to create 3 objects with 3 different light sources and plot the shadows. Use this video and the handout as a reference. Depending on the objects you draw and how big you draw them, try to fit them all on the same page, 3 objects and 3 different light sources. I've included this handout in Blackboard after this video. It's a great reference to help you get started with these exercises.